Wow, saya dengar.
Okay. Slide.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, can we start?
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam. Salam, Abang Fahan. Sorry Abang Fahan,
Yes.
ganggu Abang.
This time recording dah check
This time semua orang record. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to all of my friends and to Abang Fahan. So today we all gather again to make an interview session with Mr. Ahmad Farhan bin Amiruddin, lead structural engineer for Marine Heavy Engineering Malaysia. So we doing this for our task for engineer and society, and we from group 4. So can you briefly introduce yourself, Mr. Ahmad Farhan?
Can. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Very good night. First of all, I will say thank you for having me. Just a bit of introduction about myself. My name is Ahmad Farhan, 36 years old. Graduated with a bachelor degree in civil engineering from UiTM Shah Alam in 2009. Started my career right after I graduated as civil engineer in civil engineering company called Main Consult. However, after 1 year, I got an offer to join an oil and gas company called Sapura Crest. I'm not sure whether you guys know or not. Currently, they call Sapura Energy.
No.
I think this is where my oil and gas career started lah. So starting as a junior structural engineer, then over the years I progressed to senior engineer and lead engineer's role. So after 11 plus 11 plus years serving in Sapura Energy, I decided to take new challenge. In 2022, I joined Saipem, one of the biggest oil and gas installation company in the world in UAE, as a senior structural engineer. However, I have to leave my family since my wife is working and my kids still school here. So I stayed there for about 1 year, but fortunately, I received an offer from MMHE, which is one of the Malaysia's biggest engineering and construction companies, as a lead structural engineer. So throughout my oil and gas experience, I managed to experience starting from designing the offshore platform design, starting from the design stage, fabrication stage, and up into installation stage lah. So during offshore also, I've been to offshore to see how they install the platform. So that's all about myself. Anything you want to ask?
So any question from my group member? If there is no question, we will move to the first question session. So why did you go into engineering?
Okay. I decided to become an engineer, or go to engineering. I think one of the reason is because of my dad was an engineer, and of course, as a kid, you always look up to your dad as a role model. And then apart from that, I think I'm quite good in maths, and I enjoy solving problems. So I think that's one of the reasons why I go to engineering.
Okay. So Mr. Ahmad Farhan, do you think math is something that make everyone or every other students care about engineering?
I would not say maths would be the only things, but because when you're good at maths, basically you know how to solve that problem lah. So the most important thing is if you want to become an engineer, you must have a mentality as a problem solvers lah. So even though you don't know how, not so good in maths, as long as you know how to solve it, so I think you can still be a good engineer.
Okay, thank you for your advice, Mr. Ahmad Farhan. So this is our next question. So how do you balance the social and technical aspects of engineering in your work? Would be good to have detailed analysis in terms of percentage to balance social and technical aspects.
Okay, basically there's no straight answer to this lah. It depends on your career stage lah. If you are a young engineer, you might focus more onto the technical side. I would say about 70 to 80%, and the remaining 20% on the social aspect, like communicating with your team, with your bosses, with your other team members. So as you move to a senior role or lead position, so I think your technical focus will be slightly reduced lah. I can say around 60%. However, on your social aspect, it slightly increased, maybe 40% to 50%, because these changes happen. You now in a supervisory role, so you're more involved into communication with clients, with other parties, with your subordinates. In terms of technical, you're more involved into strategic planning, reviewing. Yeah. So I
Okay,
hope I answered the questions.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Farhan. So we'll move
Right.
to the next question.
Right.
Okay, so for the next question, how has engineering changed over the past years, and how do you see it changing in the future? Will be good to have detailed analysis in terms of percentage, the market of engineering jobs available.
Okay. Okay. If you look in during 80s and 90s, engineering mainly centered on meeting the basic society needs, like the infrastructures. We build hospitals, we build school, we build house. Engineering more centered into manufacturing, factories, transportation, and roads. However, if you see in recent years, if you see now, engineering has transformed. Now focusing on more into digitalization, sustainable energy. So in terms of percentage, I would think about 60% of engineering job reflect these changes lah. And then I can foresee that this trend, if it's continue, potential increase to 75%. So the focus you can see now, it more into renewable energy, artificial intelligence, and sustainable infrastructure project. So align with what the current requirement of ECG, environmental, social, and governance. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Farhan. So we move to the next question. So what are the safety measures do engineers need to consider in their work?
Safety measures engineers need to consider. Okay, I would say safety is always the top priorities in engineering, because engineers will always strictly follow safety standards. Whatever you design something, there must be always a standard code of practice that we have to follow. Because why this we have to follow this? Because we want to cover all the safety measures and the protocols. So the main responsibility is to ensure whatever you design is always safe in terms of the design process and the byproduct of it. So the safety measures that involve, I would say, we do have like risk assessments, compliance with the code of practice, regulation, and keep on continuously enhancing the safety practice. Even after the project completed, there is always a lesson learned to be conducted. The reason being is to ensure there's a continuity how to improve on the safety aspects.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Farhan. So for the next question, how to think like an engineer?
Okay, I think if you want to think like engineer, there are three things that always be in your mind, lah, which is you have to have what, why, and how. So as an engineer, you being a problem solver. So the aim is to identify the problem. So that's why you want to know what you have to in your mind. Always have what. So then you understand. You want to know why it happens. So why and how we're gonna solve it. So if you have these three things, I think this approach helps engineer to systematically address any challenges and to find effective solutions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Fahad. So for the next question, how to improve better as an engineer?
To improve better as an engineer, I think you must be able to adapt on the demands of the current world. Keep on, keep on improving your parts by keep updated on the industry trends. Always actively uh, try to upskill your professional development. If you look for professional development opportunities, and always don't afraid of any challenge.
So okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Fahad. So for the next question, what are the social and environmental roles performed by engineers, such as the impact on the public or the environment?
Okay, I think engineers plays a very crucial role, especially tackling social and environmental challenges. Uh, of course, the primary focus is to meet the public and social needs. However, we need to ensure that what we when we try to achieve the social and public needs, we have to ensure minimal environmental impact lah. So a simple example is, okay, currently in this world right now, we need energy, right? Or most of our life it depends on hydrocarbon energy. I could say, like for example, like petrol. So if you look at the current situation now, we're starting to shift by from depending solely to the hydrocarbon petrol, which will be impacting our environmental and it's not going to be last forever. We started towards go to the renewable sources like solar, wind farms. So if you look at current trend now, we start looking at the electric car, electric bus, so which is more environmental friendly. So I think the initiative here is we keep on to aim to create more sustainability for our future generations.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Fahad. So for the next question, what advice would you give to young engineer entering the field?
Mhm. I think my advice to young engineers is number one is you should have right attitude. Don't easily give up when you're facing any challenges, and always keep on learning. Try to build a strong technical foundation while you're in your university now, and try to develop. Apart from that, try to develop your interpersonal and communication skill. So I think this will really help you to succeed in your career.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Fahad. So for the next question, what are some of the most significant challenges you face in your career as an engineer? How did you overcome them?
Okay, the most significant challenge that I face as a career as an engineer is when you involve in a project where you have a very tight deadlines, tight budget constraint, and technical difficulties. So usually I overcome this by having an open and active communication among other discipline team members. Try to look at expertise from each disciplines, because sometimes you have to remember that you alone cannot solve everything. So you would still need others' helps. And when you reach out to other people or other disciplines, so it gives you a better perspective. So by doing that, we can have a better proactive problem solving approach. So what I can say here, collaboration and adaptability is the key to overcoming these challenges.
Okay. Okay. For the next or for the last question, thank you, Mr. Mafan. Okay. What does the future of engineering hold, and how can engineers prepare for it?
I can foresee that the future of engineering is focusing more into automation, integration of AI, artificial intelligence, and focusing on the renewable energy, which is sustainability energies, such as wind farm, solar. So, how engineers can prepare for it? So, I think as a young engineers like you guys who about to graduate, I think you have to embrace your mindset to be more adaptability and keep on learning. Always keep yourself up to date on what the industry needs, because uh, it is very dynamic landscape. So yeah, always keep updated on what the industry needs, I would say.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mafan. So I think that is the last question for our interview session. And this question from me to Mr. Mafan. So as you first time graduate as an engineer, so what is your first impression for the salary that it's offer for your first time job?
Mm, Before that, what do you expect? I mean, how much do you expect as a when you, let's say, later when you graduated? How much do you expect your salary to be?
For myself,
Uh,
I don't expect as much because I don't have any experience yet.
uh-huh.
So I think I will expect something that um, really something like ideal salary for fresh graduate engineer.
Okay, what's your ideal salary?
So
If you mind to share.
okay, for me as someone that worked as technician before, I somehow talk with some few engineer for at my work. So some of them say that if the company for me myself from the Western Digital at Penang, so it follow the rule of international salary. So their
Okay.
basic so for their basic starting for fresh engineer for the first time working with their company, so they start from RM 3K starting
Okay.
salary 3K for fresh graduate degree.
Right.
So for me myself when see that the 3K, I don't think that something that all company will offer. Somehow a few company will offer below than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, so
Because I.
others somehow will offer higher or below.
Mhm.
So for higher, I think that's for someone that have some experience
All
that
right.
can demand the salary.
Okay. So what I mean, because I just want to know what is the new generation expectation. I mean, how low the salary you think is appropriate? I mean, what's the minimum salary that you think appropriate for a fresh engineers?
For me, I think RM 3K
Okay.
starting.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it's Yeah, I understand. I think for young engineers like your generation now, it's quite difficult right at this moment because, of course, with the living cost, everything. So I mean, we cannot expect same like last time. In fact, during I don't know my time, I started with 1008 in civil engineering company. Then I joined some oil and gas, started with 3,500. And during that time, I think 3,500 was big already. But I don't think it can apply the same as current situation now. But my advice to you guys is because now it's quite challenging for you guys because the job you guys need to fight for the job. So if you demand for more, you might lose that job. So to me, as an advice to you guys, just go first. At least that would be your stepping stone lah. Mm. To secure your position, that's the most priority part lah. And then trust me, once the money will come later, even though you started with you think it's quite low, but at the end of the day, the money will come later lah. As long as you put your passion, you're happy with that. So don't worry about the money so much lah. But of course, must be logical lah. Kan?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Farhan, for your for answering my question and for your advice.
Nice.
So we come to an end of our interview session today. So
Mhm.
what can I conclude from our interview session today is that to become an engineer is not easy, but somehow it takes a few steps to overcome all the problem that we have. And then from becoming an engineer, we know that it's about solving problem. So as engineer, we need to solve problem, and to overcome that problem, so we need to. It doesn't take people to be so clever, and that's will be a bonus for clever people. But if we need to work hard to ensure that we can solve the problem.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's all from me. And thank you, Mr. Ahmad Farhan, again for becoming our to come to our interview session. And thank you to all my fellow friends. And thank you to Zamira too for inviting you. So
No problem.
I hope all of my group member will get something from this interview session for future.
Yeah, and thank you for having me as well. I hope I managed to share a bit of my experience with you guys lah. Hopefully, it be beneficial for you guys.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmad Farhan.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you, Bang.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone.
All right. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Okay. Salam.
Salam.